Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel if you are a subscriber. My name is Leïla. On this channel I talk about personal development and my life here in Seoul, South Korea. I've been living in the country for about a year and a half now, and the purpose of this channel is to offer guidance, advice, and share a little bit of my journey with whoever is interested out there. I also have an Instagram account at Miss Clay if you would like to follow me there. I talk about my daily life and also lessons that I'm learning on this journey. Alright, so in today's video, we're going to talk about some inconveniences that I've encountered here in Korea and the way I went about fixing the situation or making the situation work for me. So in case this happens to you, you would know what to do. Keep on watching. All right, so let's start with transportation card, and I'm pretty sure you know what that is, right? It's a card that you buy at the convenience store. You load the card with cash and you use the card to pay for the bus or the train. If you're on vacation in Korea, that's very, convenient, right? But if you're here long term, 3 months, 6 months, or a year, it is not convenient at all for two reasons. Reason number one, you can only load the card with cash. That's it. Reason number two, you can only load it at specific location, convenience store, or the train station, and that's very limited. So if you don't keep track of how much money you have in your card, you are going to be in trouble. And that was very stressful to me until I talked to a friend and I realized that there is a way to turn your debit card into a transportation card. All you do is you go to the bank and you tell them, you ask. You pay a deposit of 30,000 Korean won, and every 2 weeks the bank will charge the amount that you spend on transportation. And before they do that, they will send you a text message 2 days before and say, hey, this is how much money we're going to charge. Make sure you have that available in your bank account. And that's it. So if you come to Korea and you set up your bank account, make sure that you ask for your debit card to also be a transportation card, and you will thank me. So let's stay on the subject of banking, and frustration number two was and still is the banking system. Their banking system here is extremely secure, so secure that it's making things very complicated for people who are not familiar with Korean as a language, but also the Korean system, because it is completely different from what you used to in the US or in America, right? For example, you cannot use international cards on 95% of Korean website. In order to make a purchase on the website for the first time, you have to have those certificate and things that you have to set up on your cell phone and your computer. I mean, so many things, mind-boggling. I'm not going to bore you with that. And it's actually one of the reasons why I started my program, Roadmap to Korea. So if you're not aware, I do have a coaching program. It is for whoever is interested in coming to Korea, study Korean, and find a way to stay in a country long term. And we talk about mindset, preparation for the trip. We talk about the Sogang experience, what you can expect. And we also work on your budgeting for however long you want to stay in Korea. And I give all those advices like regarding the banking system, opportunities that you can find here in Korea once you realize that you want to stay here long term, etc. So if you're interested in my program, Roadmap to Korea, a link is in the description of this video. Sign up, we'll have a conversation, see if we are a good fit for each other, and then we can work together. So back to the banking system. So it is extremely complicated, especially this certificate situation. Again, I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but I actually found out that there is an easier way to do banking in Korea, and that is with Kakao Talk. So if you don't live in Korea, you might only know Kakao as this messaging application, but it is so much more once you get access and unlock all the services. And of course, there are some requirements, like you have to be a resident here and have a phone number, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, long story short, with Kakao Talk, I am able to send money to whoever I want. It could be a contact in my Kakao list of friends, or it could be through that person's bank account, no matter which bank they are at. So I pay my bills like this, I pay my rent like this. There's also like a barcode thing. If I go to a store, I can use that for payment if I don't have my debit card on me. I mean, it's just mwah, 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 mwah. So again, if you come to Korea and you get yourself situated with your banking and stuff, make sure you do what it takes to qualify, I would say, to have those Kakao service unlocked on your phone. And that also comes with like requesting taxis on KakaoTalk, etc. So look into that. It's going to make your life so much easier. And that's what I've been doing so far. All right, let's move on to number 3. And this is about hair. I lost so much hair when I first arrived in Korea, and I just couldn't comprehend why. I'm going to save you the headache, and I'm going to save your hair by telling you that the reason is because of the water. I don't know what it is with Korean water. I haven't done any research, so you can do it if you want. But something about it is just not good for our hair. And it's not just like African American. I'm talking about white, black. I mean, I've met so many girls who have said the same thing to me. Something about the hair, the water is damaging the hair, and the solution is to get yourself a water filter. It's actually 5,000 won at Daiso. It lasts about a month and a half. It comes in different flavor. I use the vitamin C, and that's it. It's going to save you headache. It's going to save you hair. So as soon as you move to Korea, I don't care where you live. It's a goshi one, an apartment, fancy one, not a fancy one. Get yourself a water filter, okay? All right, let's move on to frustration number 4. Shoes. I know it sounds ridiculous, and I'm a 9.510 in US shoe size. So I am considered big here in Korea. Therefore, whenever I go to a regular Korean store, they do not have my size. When I try to ask them, maybe you can check in the back, maybe it's somewhere in the back and you're just not putting it out there because you might not. No, there's nothing. Some of them tell me you might want to go online and check, but honestly, there's no hope, right? I try to go to stores like Zara, H&M, thinking, they're international, maybe they would have something for the foreigners because we have bigger feet or whatever, but no. I have found stuff, but usually it's not really my style. It's not really what I'm looking for. Therefore, it defeats the purpose, right? Because I have particular taste and I want options, and I just don't have options here. So if you are my size, this is a problem that you will encounter. My solution was to shop in the US and bring stuff here in Korea. But the thing is, most store will not deliver in Korea. And if they do, the Korean government is requiring you to have this very specific number. Like, again, I'm not going to bore you with that. It's just like completely just mind-boggling. Anyway, so a way to go around that is to use a forwarding company. And that's also something that I explained in my program, Roadmap to Korea, so that whoever signed up for the program know that they have this option available to them as well. And what a forwarding company does is basically you make your purchase and you make that purchase delivered to the warehouse of the forwarding company. And the forwarding company receives your package and sends your package to Korea. And the one that I'm using is fantastic. They're super fast. The rate are pretty nice. I think I'm paid between $25 to $45 depending on the weight of my package. And so what I do is I just go on my usual US website, DSW, Fashion Nova, blah, 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 Amazon. I make my purchase, I send it to the warehouse, and then from there, they send it to me here in Korea. Another way you can also prevent this from being a headache or issue when you're in Korea before moving, you can go on a shopping frenzy and buy all kind of shoes for all kind of season and bring them with you to Korea. I did that as well, but the problem is after a year and a half, you kind of not get sick of your shoes, but you want something new, right? We're girls, we want variety. So eventually you are going to want to have more shoes. So if that's the case, it's going to be very hard for you to find something that you really like here in Korea. So you might have to order abroad and have it shipped to you here if it's something that you can afford to do. All right, so let's talk about the last frustration. So there's something about Korea that I really, really like is the fact that you have bathrooms everywhere, especially at train station, which is very convenient. And I use bathrooms a lot. And I know there is this whole thing about molka, those camera that pervert put in spaces so that they can film women in very compromising situation. I try not to think about that. And I just, use the bathroom hoping that the one that I'm using is actually safe, but that's another story for another time. Anyway, sometimes you would go to bathroom in Korea, and that could be bathroom at the train station or bathroom at a restaurant or at, I don't know, an attraction or something like that, and you might not find soap or you might not find toilet paper. That has happened so many times, it's ridiculous. So I came up with this idea that I would have a little pouch where I would put everything that I potentially need. So the idea was to have soap and toilet paper, and then it turned into this whole, since I'm a woman, I want to be able to refresh myself whenever, wherever. So I created this kind of pouch thingy. So that is something I would recommend that you do, right? So let me go ahead and quickly introduce my the content of my pouch. And it's something that you can, you know, of course, do when you arrive in Korea, but you can also do it wherever you are right now. I think as a woman, it'll be a good idea for you to have this with you at all time. So number one would be soap. So Daiso has this thing. It's basically like a sheet of paper, and that sheet of paper is made of soap. So it dissolves in the water, and it's very cute. So you can wash your hand and sanitize your hand with this. I'm using this as well. So of course I am not going to walk around with toilet paper. That's just not cute at all. So I have those little things that you can use to wipe your butt. Something else that I have is hand sanitizer, of course, to protect yourself, right? And then, because you never know when these can be needed, if you don't watch your cycle very closely, I have those two together. And let me just say, when it comes to this, the Korean ones, they're trash. They don't work. So I have to order them on Amazon and have them shipped to me here in Korea, because Korean tampons is just not working for me. Was that too much information? Anyway, keep that in mind just in case. All right, and then for makeup, I have this thing. It's like bloating paper. So I tend to have very oily skin. So pap, pap, pap. That removes, you know, the oil that you may have on your face. And then I also have some powder that I can reapply as well. I have lotion. As a black girl, that's very important. We cannot have ashy hands. No, that's not cute. And then because Korean food has lots of garlic and all that kind of stuff, it's always a good idea to have like a cool mint Listerine, just to, like, you know, make sure your breath does not stink. And then I also have this little thing, menthol, as well for the breath. And I have this thing as well for my lips, so that it doesn't, you know. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. And then you can add, let's see, what else can we add here? Oh yeah, I do have my lipstick and I do have a mirror, very important. Okay, so yeah, think about like the things that you would most likely need, put them in a pouch, a very cute one if possible. Mine is just this very regular thing, and that's it. Put that in your bag, and whenever you need it, you will have it handy. And that would be good if, let's say, you leave the house very early in the morning and then you have maybe a date in the evening or friends that you need to meet, then you can kind of like refresh yourself as well. So before I let you go, I wanted to end this video with a message, okay? And the message is about when you encounter situations that are not working for you, what do you do, right? As human beings, we tend to complain, we tend to you know, overthink the situation and hate the situation, but all that energy that you're pouring is not helpful energy. It's draining energy. So when it comes to situations that are not, you know, working out for you, you basically have three options, right? Option number one, you remove yourself from the situation and you don't deal with it at all. Option number two, you try to find solution to make the situation work for you, make it better. Or option number three, you just accept the situation for what it is and you make peace with it. So living in Korea, you're going to find those kind of situations, and I talked about some today. They might seem like not a big deal. They could be a big deal for some people, but at the end of the day, the idea here is that I cannot remove myself from the situation, obviously, because I'm here, I live here. So I have two options, right? Either I make it better or I accept it for what it is. And what I've been doing is maybe a combination of the two. So my encouragement to you is whatever situation that you're encountering in your life, instead of pouring so much energy complaining about it, trying to find solution, or try to find peace about the situation and just move on with your life. All right, that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching all the way until the end. I really appreciate it, and I want to say thank you. You can follow me on Instagram if you feel like my feed is inspiring to you. You can like, comment on this video if you have something you want to say and share. I would be all ears. And yeah, I wish you good health. Take good care of yourselves, and you will see me in another video sometime soon. Thank you. Bye. Mwah.